Setanta Sports, we're taking you to Wembley this evening, something of a first, a Friday night qualifier as the campaign for Euro 2012 gets truly underway. It is the Group G opener between England and Bulgaria. Kick-off in under half an hour, and it's live for you on Setanta Ireland. And we are not about to go rushing to judgments on any issue tonight. After all, England won all 5 World Cup qualifiers at home by a combined scoreline of 21-3, and we know what happened next to them. And neither are we rushing to judgment on Ireland, who emerged earlier with the 3 points, Pat, but surely that performance requires considerable improvement.
No, I disagree. I thought it was magnificent. I think it was a potential banana skin. I think there was a lot of factors that made it very difficult. The pressure of knowing how valuable the 3 points were. I thought it was thoroughly professional, but there was a moment of the game for me that defined what was so impressive about it, and that's the manager, the coach, Trapattoni. I'm certainly no cheerleader for paying an Italian, a couple of million to do that job. But after 30 minutes, when Dahl was fighting, there was balls breaking off him, he turned around to Keith Fahey on the bench and he explained what he wanted from his midfield players, which ultimately, 2 minutes after Keith Fahey, which was a very brave substitution, if he takes off McGeady and brings on Fahey and he doesn't get the result, he'll be crucified. But he had the conviction to make the big decision, he got the big result, and Fahey got the big goal. I thought it was terrific, and what a start.
And if you don't mind me saying, a feather in your own cap, because Fahey and Doyle played for you here at home before going on to, well, richer pastures anyway, that must be said. But how professional was it that Shea Given was our best player and that Armenia created so many chances against us?
Well, I didn't think he was the best player. I thought he was very good. I think he's got a problem at Manchester City if he's not going to play. But I thought that Doyle was magnificent. I thought Lawrence was tremendous. And even the players that had a hard time, and Paul Green in the centre midfield found it very, very difficult and tough. But, he's a guy coming in a huge pressure situation. He's going to get better from it. But I thought it was about the coach. I mean, it's quite extraordinary, his passion, his energy at the age he's had. He hasn't been well. And I was going to look at him closely today and think, has he still got the desire to do the job? And I think he's going to do the job differently, because I think he realises, we talk about our players being in the last chance saloon, but he is. And he stood up and showed us what he was 20 years ago. He was one of the top coaches on the planet. And I thought that it was a vindication of his reign this afternoon. And I think that, when we're asked to make comments on things now, you have an opinion, and there's no change from that opinion, and you wait until you can justify that opinion. Well, if you've got a banana there, you don't need a magnifying glass to say it's a banana. He got it right, the coach. We got 3 points in Armenia, and let's see if the other teams in the group get maximum points home and away against them.
So, to follow your theory then, Armenia are no pushover. Is that what you're saying?
No, of course they're not. I mean, you've got to respect teams in international football. You've got to respect the results they've got. Are they world beaters? No, but I tell you what,
so they're
comparable in size. They're comparable in size to us as a nation. They've got a football history as well. Just because people have difficulty in pronouncing the name of Armenia in their cities.
That's not what this is about.
Yeah, but we disrespect them as a footballing nation.
My point is, we have definitely got stiffer tests ahead.
Of course.
Slovakia and Russia. And when we've given as many chances away on another night, we probably will get punished. We all know that.
Yeah, but, tonight's not the night to consider other nights. Every game is its own story. And there's a script that, develops within 90 minutes of football. But that script then influences the next script. And what this does, I think it's guaranteed we'll have 6 points going into the Russia game, which I think from a confidence point of view is really important. Let's remember that one of our most creative forces, and someone that Trapattoni placed a lot of trust in, Damien Duff, wasn't available. That was a real whammer. He's got the difficulty of trying to cope with his captain, Robbie Keane, who was desperate for a goal out there. Tried very hard and put a lot of energy into his performance, but sometimes his desperation for a goal, because of his situation at Tottenham, was detrimental to the performance. So it wasn't an easy exercise for the coach. He's got the 3 points. I think it's a great start, and I'm going to celebrate it.
Point taken, but this is a night when, as I said, we're not rushing to judgments on any subject. So, progress to this point. Is this manager getting the best out of the players that we have got in international terms at the moment?
Well, I think, the question I would ask you and anyone else that's not totally satisfied with the performance, before the game, would you settle for a 1-0 win? It's a clean sheet, it's 3 points, and it's one of those awful, the first game in the group, You're going into the unknown. He doesn't really know what he's going to get against Armenia. And what impressed me about Armenia, they've got an average age, I think, of about 21 today.
Yes.
They had lots of energy. They lacked quality throughout their side. But somewhere along the line, someone's going to slip up against them. We didn't. Well done, Ireland. Well done, Trapattoni.
Nice start, Pat, from you too. Thank you very much. Trapattoni keeps his critics at bay, for tonight at least. Attention turns to Fabio Capello. Can he steer England in a new direction? Live international football tonight from Wembley on Setanta Sports. Look out also, incidentally, for Serie A and the MLS in the months ahead. And we travel to Germany with Tottenham Hotspur as the great Champions League adventure begins. Werder Bremen hosts Spurs on the opening night. That's Tuesday, September the 14th. That's one of 2 live games on our 2 channels. There's also Barcelona against Panathinaikos on the Tuesday. 2 more on the Wednesday. On Setanta Sports 1, it's Chelsea, who travel to Žilina. And Real Madrid against Ajax, hard to match for glamour, really. That will be live on that evening on Setanta Ireland. And 2 games in the Europa League as we reach the group stage proper on the Thursday, September the 16th. First up, Salzburg against Manchester City, followed by Sevilla against Paris Saint-Germain. What of England tonight, Pat? No Terry, no Ferdinand, no King, and it's Dawson and Jagielka at centre-half. And you identified before the break John Terry and 1 or 2 other defenders getting a run around, and no Matthew Upson.
Yeah, I mean, 5 international caps for such a crucial game. Remember, the first game, it's the start of the competition. It defines what sort of press criticism you're going to get. They have to win tonight, and I think it's going to be really, really difficult for them, and made more difficult by the level of criticism is just ridiculous. So it's going to be interesting to see how the players stand up. And in those circumstances, in that centre of the defence, what you want is experience. You want people that aren't going to be nervous. He's got experience. I just worry about England in the centre of defence, because when teams come to Wembley generally, even if they lack fight or organisation or spirit or physicality, technically they've got the players in the forward positions that can hurt England. No Berbatov, of course, you know, which is sad. He'll only be 30 in January. He decided to give it up. But, you know, he scored 48 goals. You know, people laugh at Berbatov. He's a class act. But if people think he was lazy at Manchester United, they should have seen him play for Bulgaria. I mean, in the last campaign, Berbatov was a disgrace. So maybe there'll be more of a team.
Some would say he's so lazy he can't even drive down the M6 from Manchester to London now.
He doesn't even know the game's on tonight, Paul.
Very sad, isn't it? And, of course, going back to our own situation, we don't even mention Stephen Ireland. But it's about Steven Gerrard tonight as he prepares to lead England out. And our commentary team, we welcome Brian Littleback alongside Martin Fisher.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Wembley as another qualifying campaign beckons against the simmering discontent of England's woeful showing at the World Cup and continuing unease about the long-term future of their Italian boss, Fabio Capello. Make no mistake, the knives are still out for the manager following the debacle in South Africa. Slip up tonight or on Tuesday in Switzerland, and they'll be sharpened, and he could be gone. The press certainly scenting a kill, the fans more difficult to call. Not a sellout tonight, but they're still out in good number. Ready to boo, prepared to cheer. The next 90 minutes will influence that reaction hugely. Brian Little alongside me here. Brian, it's a massive game. It really is a game England should not lose, should win comfortably. Do you expect them to?
Well, I think after the last few games, it's very difficult to expect them to, of course. But I think an England team playing well, without a doubt. It's whether they actually turn up on this particular occasion. As you've mentioned, there's pressure coming from all sorts of different areas. The players themselves didn't respond overly well to that in their last competition. But I think, you know, it's a new start in many respects. And I'd like to think the players can step up to the plate and show what they can actually do. Interesting there, Brian. The goalkeeper of Bulgaria tonight, Nikolai Mikhailov, shaking the hands there of his dad, because the guest of honour today representing Bulgaria is Borislav Mikhailov. You might remember him, you might remember the hair, that's for sure. He was the goalkeeper for Bulgaria in the World Cup finals of 1994.
when he didn't have that much hair, should I say. But he was a heck of a good goalkeeper, and no other Bulgarian player has been capped as often as he. And that was why there was that special embrace between goalkeeper of yesteryear and goalkeeper of today. We ready ourselves for the two national anthems. Bulgaria have never beaten England before. Is tonight a night of destiny for those players? Rendition of the national anthem, the players and the fans in good voice. Wembley looks picture perfect. The pitch, for once, looks good. It's been relayed 11 times now, and there's a hint of the artificial in there now with the Deso system. Let's have a look at the two teams for you. The new England shows 4 changes to the side humiliated in Bloemfontein by Germany. 2 enforced, Terry and Lampard injured, James and Upson the others to go. Joe Hart was many people's pick for the World Cup. Theo Walcott unlucky to miss out too. Central defence is where the new look comes in. Jagielka and Dawson only have 6 caps between them. It's the first time the Spurs man has started, and when he came on as a sub in the last game here, that friendly against Hungary, his mistake enabled Jagielka ultimately to score an own goal. Maybe that is an area that Bulgaria will look to exploit this evening. Gerrard starting in the middle according to that formation graphic, with Milner on the left and Walcott down the right. For Bulgaria, well, it's the same team that lost 1-0 in Russia last month. No Berbatov, of course, these days. He retired in May, having scored 48 goals for his country. The Petrov pair should be familiar from their Premier League days. Stillion's 96th cap tonight. Martin's first was against England 11 years ago. He was sent off in that Euro qualifier after just 8 minutes. You might also recall number 10, Valery Bozhinov. He was at Manchester City for 3 seasons, and in that time, due to injuries, only made 3 Premier League starts. So how will England's World Cup flops begin their European Championship qualifying campaign? Just 5 teams in this group. Remember, the winners automatically go through to the tournament in Poland and Ukraine, and the second-place team probably goes through to a playoffs situation. Of the 9 groups, 1 runner-up will automatically qualify. The other 8 will be involved in qualifiers. Slight change to the England strip. The blue shorts are back, accompanied with blue numbers and blue letterings on those white shirts. Tonight's referee hails from Hungary. There he is, Viktor Kasai. He's only 34, and he was in charge of the World Cup semi-final between Spain and Germany. And it's Bulgaria in the red and green strip who get us underway, taking the goal away to our left-hand side. An early touch here for Glenn Johnson. And Michael Dawson sweeping it downfield. And it does look, Brian, as though Steven Gerrard will in fact start in the middle of midfield with Milner on the left.
Yeah, well, you look at it and you can see Capello, and he's been strong enough to keep this very rigid and sometimes very predictable 4-4-2 formation. I think ultimately, if he wins a game of football tonight, it will go a little way towards healing some of the wounds that a lot of English people got through the World Cups. But it's a brave decision. I think a lot of people have been trying to tell him to change system. But first point is that he wants to stick with this formation to see how it does.
Pressure on Stoyanov by Jermaine Defoe. 5 of this Bulgaria side were involved the last time they were at a major tournament, and that was some 6 years ago at Euro 2004. Not an occasion they would like to reflect upon. They lost all 3 of their group games and went home after the first 10 days, and their first defeat was a 5-0 thumping by Sweden. Here's Phil Jagielka, and now Ashley Cole. Steven Gerrard. Rooney in space. Gerrard has 2 outlets on the right, Walcott and Johnson. Interesting stat I was reading earlier today, Brian, about Theo Walcott. This is his 13th appearance for his country. The previous 12 occasions, England have always won. So he's something of a lucky omen. It's certainly a player in form at the moment.
Well, with those sort of stats, it's amazing he didn't go to the World Cup, isn't it? Really, Martin. But I'm glad to see him back in there this evening. I think, again, going back to Capello, the one thing he's always tried to state, or stated very strongly, was that he was going to play people in form. And you can't doubt that at this moment in time, Walcott, the goals he's scoring, he deserves to be given a chance to play this evening.
It's Milner on the opposite side that has it for England. Tackle was by Yankov, and this is Manolev, highly rated fullback who plays for PSV, but he's given it away cheaply there. Ashley Cole, Milner still free to his left. Rooney takes over for England. Long way out. Lovely ball in for Cole, and he's still there, and so is Defoe, and England take the lead inside 3 minutes. Just the start they wanted. Jermaine Defoe on the end of it. Ashley Cole and Wayne Rooney heavily involved in the build-up. That eases the pressure a bit.
Well, it's a marvellous start, isn't it? I mean, great play. Look at this ball from Rooney. You think he's going to have a shot, and he's reverse passed it across. Perhaps Cole could have scored himself. Give the goalkeeper credit, decent save. But there's Defoe in that area where Harry Redknapp always says he is. He's always liable to score goals from 3 or 4 or 5 yards out. A poacher's goal. Great start for England. Fantastic.
Well, again, barely a flicker on the face of Fabio. Defoe, of course, was one of England's scorers at the World Cup. The winning goal in their only victory in that narrow 1-0 success over Slovenia. Milner, he's past his man, and, well, half a shout for a free kick there. It was Stoyanov who was struggling to contain the Manchester City player.
I think Martin, just going back to the goal, and here's that situation again. It potentially is a foul. I think if it's not that close to the box, I think he would have got a free kick. But if we just go back to the goal for a second or two, I think Rooney's part in that probably was more effective there in those 30 seconds than he was in the entire World Cup, come to think of it. I mean, he really had a dire time out there, didn't he? And it's really good, I think, from an England point of view, to see someone like Rooney early doors in this competition get himself back in the favour of all the fans.
Milanov. Angelov. Burying it in. Then Gerrard, and Gerrard's gone down there. Stanislav Angelov will be spoken to here by the referee, who couldn't have had a better view of that incident.
Well, it's one of them situations where both players have gone up with their feet up. Whoever got there first was always going to come off worst, that's for sure. More often than not, you could get a booking for a situation like that.
Ashley Cole again, well forward on that left-hand side. Gerrard. Jagielka. Cole. Now Barry. Well, they never managed to knock it about with this sort of confidence in South Africa. Milner, Cole. Angelov, Gerrard's nicked it off him. Defoe could continue the momentum, but England could come again with Gerrard. Walcott, his first touch, anxious to take on Milanov, forced inside. There's the shot of a man who is full of confidence at the moment.
Well, it's looking good, isn't it, up to now? Gerrard's been on the ball so much, really influential in the game. Not the best shot, but I think what you'll see of Walcott is he will get involved in the game all of the time.
What I liked about that finish by Defoe, Brian, and you'll appreciate it, I'm sure, too, is just how he was alive to the situation, made sure he was onside and get the angle for Cole to pull it back to him.
Well, he's just one of those players that you can't teach that to. It's so natural, it's so gifted. You know, if you're born a goal scorer, you're a goal scorer, and it's something that, you know, people just can't coach. You can't tell people if they haven't got that natural instinct to get into positions, it's just never going to be there. He is, without a doubt, one of the most instinctive finishers certainly in the English game, that's for sure.
Here's Stoyanov, who plays his club football in Japan and has been out there for 5 seasons now. First touch for Joe Hart. 5th cap for England. And how he didn't start in the World Cup is anybody's guess. Walcott. Rooney. Barry. It might reach Walcott still. The greatest piece of defending by Milanov. Walcott, who's already scored 4 times this season for Arsenal, and that equals his tally in the Premier League for the whole of last season. Johnson, beautiful. Headed away by Ivanov. Gerrard. Perfect flight for Cole. Milner hugging the far touchline. Has been playing left-hand side of midfield for Manchester City since his £26 million move to Eastlands. Never lost to Bulgaria, England. 4 wins and 4 draws. It's the record. The last time they met was in June 1999 in Sofia. 1-1 the score then. Alan Shearer was England's goal scorer and Kevin Keegan was the manager. Stoyanov, lifting it forward. Well defended by Jagielka.
Yeah, that was good to see. It was good to see, wasn't it? I think the two centre-backs tonight are the two players who will be under more of the spotlight than most. You know, it's questionable. I think they're definitely there because of injuries at this moment in time. It'll be important for those two to get off to a decent start. The way England have started playing, it's good for them because there's a high tempo to the game. They're being very brave.
Fraction too heavy by Gerard Defoe, but again there, just in the build-up to that move, Rooney was inside the England half, picking up very, very deep indeed. That's the Bulgaria coach, Stanimir Stoilov, who was in charge of Levski Sofia when they reached the Champions League group stage some 4 seasons ago, the first Bulgarian side to do that. Said that Bulgaria come to Wembley happy not to lose, but here to win. And they're 1 behind inside 10 minutes. Jermaine Defoe, the scorer, on 3 minutes if you've just joined us. England on the front foot and looking confident. Johnson with Walcott ahead of him. Two years ago now that Theo Walcott scored that hat-trick in Croatia. His first goals for his country, and he hasn't scored since. Manolev back for Mikhailov, just 22 years of age. You might remember that he had a spell at Liverpool, never actually made it through to the bench, let alone the starting lineup at Anfield. Here's Popov, looking for Martin Petrov. The early ball in, but Hearts alert to that. Former teammates of each other at Manchester City. Martin Petrov joining Bolton over the summer. Rooney for Milner. Cross goes Stoyanov. A lot of talk before the game, Brian, as to whether England would play with a free man, and many thought that that free man might be Stephen Gerrard. It looks to me, by the way that they've started, is that Wayne Rooney's got the free rollers and he's dropping deep and going left wing and occasionally popping up through the middle.
Yeah, I think what Capello's had to do is he's obviously wants this 4-4-2 formation, but he needs something different about it. We were so predictable beforehand, weren't we, in the last competition especially, so much has been said about it is untrue. So I think for him to have stuck to a really rigid, solid 4-4-2, you know, I think pretty quickly, if we hadn't scored early, I think, you know, people would be picking up on it even now. But there is a little bit of freedom there, and as you say, it is Rooney who looks as if he's given the licence to do it.
Poor ball there from the Manchester United man, though. Johnson's trying to nick it back. Gerrard has done so. Here's Walcott. Defoe waits in the middle. Good response from him at the start of the season, Theo Walcott, Brian. Obviously hugely disappointed not to go to the World Cup finals. He started the season very well. Yeah,
I think so. And you know, listening to him not so long back talking on radio stations and the like, it's possibly the first full pre-season he's had for 2 or 3 seasons. You know, I think he's had a few injuries. He's got himself right through the summer. And as I think anybody tells you in football, you know, a good pre-season under your belt is very important to have a decent football season ahead of you. So in fairness to Theo Walcott, perhaps he's as fit now as he's been for quite some time.
Bulgaria's current form is nothing to shout home about. It's 4 games without a win since the World Cup qualifiers came to a close. And they've lost 3 of those 4 games. All of those games have been away from home line. Defeats at Poland, Belgium and Russia. One success, if you can call that, was a 1-1 draw in South Africa in May. Of course, got 2 draws against Ireland in the World Cup qualifying campaign. Too many draws really for them to have any chance of making it out of that group. Drew 5 of their 10 games. The Banda here. Same old tunes. Ivanov over the top, first real test for Dawson.
I've never seen a referee so close to a situation that looked like a free kick and didn't give it. But as you say, I mean, it's important for those two centre-backs to really be organised and sniff out that type of ball. What England don't want is one ball absolutely cutting them wide open, and we did see that on so many occasions.
And there's the header away by Dawson. Watch for Barry's little nudge here, though, on Popov. I think the Bulgarian was looking for it, but he was certainly impeded by Barry. Nice take by Ashley Cole. Like Gerrard in the mid-80s now when it comes to caps for his country.
Well, he looks up for it, doesn't he, Steven Gerrard? He looks lively, he's wanting the ball all the time. And up to now, he's been very sort of, I think, inspirational. I think that's right. You know, he certainly wants to play. You can see that. The players are there watching him, and he's leading by example at the moment.
Has been playing a bit deeper this season for Liverpool, Steven Gerrard, under Roy Hodgson. Whether or not that continues throughout the season remains to be seen, but well, they've got Poulsen in and Morales. You would have thought that there'd be greater licence for Gerrard to move further up the pitch for his club side. Defoe kept it alive, Rooney takes over. Barry for Milner. Club colleagues again at Manchester City. Milner's ball in, not a bad ball in, headed away by Stoyanov. The drop for Gerrard. Milner.
Yeah, probably right, isn't it? I think you can see by the crowd reaction, that they're enjoying it up to now, Martin. I think that's a good thing from England's point of view. It could have been, as so many people might have thought, a pretty nervy first 15 minutes. The goal certainly settled everybody down, but I think the tempo they've adopted has been very, very important to get the crowd on their side.
Manolev. Petrov. Stilian Petrov for Angelov. And now Stoyanov. Easy for Jagielka. No real test as yet for the two new central defenders for England. Johnson. Into the path of Walcott. To the byline he goes. In towards Defoe. Away by Stoyanov. Milanov. Gerrard's foul.
He's not going to get away with that, is it? Arm on his shoulder, a little tug. And players today have really adapted the technique of going down when there's no contact at all now, and definitely got it right that time, the referee.
Good jump by Jagielka. But it's collected here by Angelov. Now Manolev. Stilian Petrov. Milanov getting forward on this left-hand side. Chance to measure the ball in, deep to the back post, away by Jagielka. Gerrard to pick up the pieces and try and launch a counter-attack here. Just overran it slightly under pressure from Angelov. Stilian Petrov. Defoe getting back at him. It's a foul. And already it's been taken quickly. Popov has it. Options to his right. Bit better from Bulgaria. And for the first time this evening, the England manager is off his seat and to the touchline. Nice touch from Popov. Johnson needs to be alert and almost scored an own goal. What on earth was he trying to do there? Good stop by Joe Hart in the end. Could have been hugely embarrassing for the Liverpool defender.
A couple of real nightmare situations there. I think it was James Milner who really felt asleep from the throw-in. And Glenn Johnson, of course, there. That could have been a nightmare, as you've said. But thankfully, at the moment, England look as if they've found a goalkeeper who's very much in form, very confident, very strong-minded, and rescued. First little lapse, and England were under pressure.
And forward they come with Walcott. Will settle for the corner. First of the game. Well, that was a real let-off for England. First time they've been under any kind of pressure, and they almost conceded. How will England cope from a set piece without John Terry? So dangerous down the ears from this kind of situation. And the centre halves that England have tonight are in there, but Milner's ball in, won't find any of them. Johnson. Barry. Looking for Rooney. Stoyanov is the defender. Rooney. Bulgaria beginning to find their feet. Bozhinov. Ivanov. Defender that's been a regular over the last year. Angelov. Popov. Manolev. Trying to shake off Ashley Cole. He's gone for the return. Jagielka across to clear.
I think, Martin, after an initial 15 minutes where it was England, 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 all England, we've just had a little spell there where they've got put on the back foot a little bit. No wonder we saw Capello come out of his dugout area there into the technical area, try and wind them up a little bit again. And for me, England went to sleep on a couple of occasions. There again, another little mistake. Just having this little spell where, you know, things don't go well. The manager's on edge, the crowd are beginning to get on edge. It doesn't take much at all to get the England fans on edge.
Was reminiscent of Wayne Rooney at the World Cup miscontrol. Here come Bulgaria at the other end. Jagielka with the sliding challenge, beautifully timed. Bozhinov just showed too much of it to him at the last moment. Certainly in the moment, though, England pressed onto the back foot. Bulgaria asking one or two questions here. And Cole hasn't got it away. Dawson has, and Milner will complete the clearance. Well taken by Defoe. And he works the free kick. So the first few little grumbles and groans greeted Rooney's miscontrol. Here is the United man.
There he is. It wasn't that long ago that he couldn't do anything wrong at all, was it? Everything he touched was fantastic. Was in great form. Then he got that injury, and he's never quite sort of risen back up to that level again. I think those sort of things happen, Martin, you know, and whether we like it or not, just got to be patient with people like him, because an unbelievable talent. But at the moment, things are just not quite right for him.
9 goals for England in the World Cup qualifiers, Wayne Rooney, but hasn't scored for his country for nearly a year now. Last time he netted for Fabio Capello was September the 9th of last year in a 5-1 victory here over Croatia. Stoilov will be more impressed with how things are going now, after his side were rocked with that 3rd-minute goal by Jermaine Defoe. Careless by Stilian Petrov, but well, almost carried it forward, but fouled by Yankov on Gareth Barry.
You know, Martin, when you think about it, if they have started to play a little bit better, it's not that bad a thing, in all fairness. It opens the game out a little bit, doesn't it? You know, I think 1-0 down, sitting back there, just accepting a 1-0 defeat, really just makes it the spectacle harder for them, and England's perspective as well. I think if they're going to open up a little bit, then hopefully if England truly show their good form, then perhaps they could win this game quite comfortably.
Nothing as yet has come down the England right. Walcott has barely received the ball in an area where he would like it, i.e. to run onto it. Trying to work something here with Johnson. Milner takes over. Closed down by Angelov. Now Barry. Patient by England. No joy down the right, so we'll try another tack. Jagielka for Milner. Ashley Cole. Milner's available. Now England with 4 attacking the penalty area. Cross finds the head of Milanov. Childer's got back, but he can't take the ball off Popov. Now Jagielka takes over. Between them, they've done the job. This is Ivanov. Gerrard. Johnson. There are times in the game when you have to be a bit more patient, Brian. You can't force it all the time, can you? And much of the criticism, well, some of the criticism certainly for England's defeat against Germany was that at 2-1 down with 25 minutes to go, they were throwing all caution to the wind and then got undone from some counters. Milner's trying his luck from distance. To score for his country, James Milner.
Well, I think it's important to mix the game up, isn't it? It's impossible. The first 10 or 15 minutes, you could see the adrenaline was flowing. Everybody wanted to get in, and they got the start they wanted. You know, to expected them to go on and be 2 or 3 up at half-time is the dream situation. It's the dream scenario, isn't it? It's your best dream the night before a game if you're one of the players. but it doesn't always happen that way. And I think the thing is for England is to take stock, make sure they don't concede at all, but obviously to keep playing and hope that Bulgaria come out a little bit and perhaps then pick them off.
Goals haven't been a problem at Wembley under Fabio Capello. This is his 14th game as manager at the National Stadium. They've scored 41 goals in the previous 13, so they've averaged over 3 a game prior to tonight. Here's Ivanov for Bulgaria. Jagielka underneath it. Rooney's gone very quiet for England, having had a very bright opening 15 minutes. Stoyanov.
That's quite good, Martin, watching the two centre-backs again. They've got a decent understanding. They're both squeezing, holding a fairly high line, but they're looking at each other. The communication between them seems reasonably good up to now. As I've said, I think we can question, you know, the real technique of the team they're playing against, ranked something like 43rd in the FIFA rankings at this moment in time, so it's not the greatest test in the world for them.
First real run here from Walcott. He's past 3. Is there an end product? Well, it was awkward for Mikhailov. Not sure if that was what Walcott intended, but certainly forced a save from the Bulgarian goalkeeper.
Yeah, he gets into great positions. Everybody knows that. Got pace to get there. I think, like everything, everybody questions that final ball with him. It's, you know, I think people don't think he really picks the best pass out, but you can't take away the fact that when he's in possession, he's a real threat to the opposition.
Second corner for England. The first from Milner from this side was very disappointing. Didn't beat the first man. This one has. And they've quickly got it back with Johnson. A long, long way back for Joe Hart. Dawson, who was Tottenham's Player of the Year last season. Didn't make the World Cup squad in the end, but only because of that injury to Rio Ferdinand. There's the only centre-half in South Africa for England who didn't get on the pitch. Here's Rooney. Gerrard is square, looking to drive forward here. Over the top for Defoe. Might still fall for Cole. Hooked away by Manolev. Gerrard with a pinpoint accuracy to find Cole. Linking up with Milner. Found it out by 2. And it's Stilian Petrov who brings it clear. Yankov for Angelov. Now Milanov. Angelov. Bozhanov making a decent move through the centre, but that ball won't find him. Johnson intercepts. These are exciting times for Michael Dawson. First start for England, involved in the qualifying campaign, and of course Tottenham Hotspur, first crack at the Champions League. Jagielka looking for Defoe, who will keep this in. Milner. Now Barry. Milner with a chance to centre here. Just been offside.
I think he just about got it right, wasn't it? Just very, very, very close, but probably spot on. When you're talking about Michael Dawson, I think it's that's what Capello sort of, his song was at the start of his reign, wasn't it? I'm going to play people in form. I'm going to play people that are playing well at their club level. Michael Dawson was definitely outstanding for Tottenham last season. His team had a fantastic season. And yet he missed out on the World Cup to Jamie Carragher, who arguably didn't have the best season. Upson, who at West Ham obviously didn't really have the best of seasons. I think we can look back and, you know, the criticism that's been levelled at the manager is there's lots of little areas where you could pick out and pick up on it. Obviously, it's with the result of hindsight, but I think Dawson deserves to be there.
Rooney for Cole. Cole trying to return it when maybe the better option would have been to kill it and go for goal himself.
And this is what we want to see England doing, you know, getting at the opposition, making sure they're in there and in amongst them. Rooney being involved in situations like that. Cole obviously gets there. Much better performance up to now than we've seen for a little while.
Cole has been terrific going forward this evening. And when you talk to other people from other countries, when they're asked to pick out one or two players from England that impress them, Ashley Cole is always at the top of the list, along with the likes of Rooney and Gerrard. Milner's nicked it. Barry for Rooney. Can England double their lead before the half-time break? Gerrard. Lofts it forward for Defoe. A lot to do here for the Tottenham man. Milner, brilliant, away from two. Rooney offering something to the left, open the gap for the right for Defoe. Stoyanov in the way. Move is still on. Gerrard for Walcott. Faced by Milanov, who's closed him down quickly.
It's a good bit of play again, isn't it? But it's just that final pass again from Walcott. Could it be better? Could he be a little bit more ruthless? Could he hang on to it for a second or two more? Was it the right ball? I'm not sure it was the right ball. I think that's that just little question mark on Theo Walcott again. It's perhaps the wrong pass for me at a very, very important moment.
Well, at the back, Jagielka and Dawson are loving it. They're not really being tested, to be fair, but they're enjoying the possession that they've had, and they look pretty comfortable in what they've done so far, but it's early days still. Milner, his industry being utilised to good effect on the England left. Careless by Rooney. More wolf whistles and one or two jeers for the Manchester United forward for that. Stilian Petrov. These days, Bulgaria's captain in the absence of Dimitar Berbatov, who retired in May. 4 more caps for the Villa man, and he'll clock up 100 for his country. He would have reached 3 figures by now had he not retired briefly for 12 months. Manolev lifts it in.
Well, he doesn't look very happy, but I think he should be happy. His team are 1 up. It could have been a lot more different to that. They've started quite well, but it has to be said up to now that the opposition aren't really doing too much to impress themselves upon the game, and the 2 centre-backs that everybody's just a little bit wary of have had a pretty comfortable game up to now.
That old adage, you can only beat the team in front of you. I guess the problem from England's point of view is that they are expected to beat the likes of Bulgaria, and they always will beat the likes of Bulgaria 9 times out of 10. It's when they come up against the top nations, the Germanys, the Spains, the Italys, the South American top sides. That's when they struggle to get results. That's when they struggle to go any distance in the tournaments, whether they be the European Championships or the World Cup. Just get your thoughts on that in a moment, Brian, as Milner presses and takes on Stoyanov once more, lines up the shot, lets it go. To the deflection, it'll be another England corner here.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, Milner there. I think the nice thing about looking at the England team tonight, compared to any games in the World Cup, they look more balanced. There's definitely a better balance. We've got people playing on the right and the left-hand side who are comfortable at playing in those positions. You've got 2 midfield players who are comfortable playing midfield.
Milner has changed the tack here, back for Johnson, in for Walcott. This looks dangerous, Defoe is in there. It's a brave stop by Mikhailov. Some variation from England that almost paid dividends.
Yeah, it's good, but he's got loads of space, hasn't he? Yeah, it is a good ball. The keeper has done really well. I think that the goalkeeper had been anything less than brave there, I think it would have been 2-0. It's a good decision by the goalkeeper to come off his line. Lots of keepers might have stayed there and tried to smother the little bits, but he's done really, really well to get there. And a decent ball from Walcott into the box.
His dad sitting in the VIP area will be proud of his young lad there. Jagielka's clearance gathered here by Yankov. Bozhanov and Martin Petrov in the box. Safe pair of hands for Joe Hart. Beaten with that last-minute penalty against Sunderland on Sunday. And his England colleague Darren Bent. Prior to that, it was successive clean sheets. A brilliant performance against Tottenham on the opening day. And then a fairly routine evening against Liverpool.
Yeah, up to now it's proven to be an ideal sort of night for England, isn't it? 2 centre-backs in there who like to defend. And I think one of the problems England have had in recent months is, you know, that both full-backs are really adventurous, aren't they, really? And often I think in some games, you know, the back 4 is tested because the 2 full-backs are really, really advanced. And I think against a better team that they really have got to be a little bit more selective on how many times they go forward.
Case in point here, Johnson's out of position as Milanov carries it forward for Bulgaria. Johnson now able to get back. Still in Petrov. Now Angelov. Manolev. Yankov. Control let him down at the crucial moment. Dorst underneath this. Popov. Hart is there again. He just looks the part to me, Joe Hart. He's big, he's commanding, he's good for his reflex stops, comes for balls when they're knocked in, shouts his defenders, tells them what to do.
Yeah, he does definitely look the part. I think it's, you know, over the years you've seen many footballers who you look at and think, my, I bet he's a great player, and they're often not. But I think, you know, he looks like a goalkeeper. He's proven to people over the last year and a half now that he is a quality young keeper. And I think it's great to see him in there. I think, you know, it is a performance-related cap, isn't it? Without a doubt. I think he's there on merit, and it's great to see.
Strong challenge by Dawson. Johnson left him a little bit short. There goes the half-time whistle. Well, England lead at the break, but not as comfortable as it looked after 3 minutes. Bulgaria came into it a bit more after Jermaine Defoe's opener on 3 minutes, and Glenn Johnson very nearly put through his own goal. And Joe Hart came to England's rescue. At the break, plenty of room for improvement. England 1, Bulgaria 0.
These were the two moments Martin Fisher was just referring to. That for starters, and it nearly all changed around here. Pat Dolan next. Right, we're all set for the second half. Back to Brian Little and Martin Fisher.
Welcome back to Wembley. Sets of players out there now. England will get us back underway. Bulgaria have only ever scored 2 goals against England in their previous 8 meetings. And they didn't really threaten Joe Hart at all in that first half. The only save he had to make was from his own defender, Glenn Johnson. So England will be confident that they can see this through. But Fabio Capello at the break, Brian, what do you think he will have been saying to his team?
Well, I think he would have said good start, but we've got to try and find that momentum we had in the opening 15 minutes again. I think it got comfortable for them. They escaped their one silly little incident, which seems to be sort of following England around in recent years. But I was pleased to see Joe Hart save that, because I think in recent times England have conceded silly goals which have really knocked them on the back foot and really knocked the confidence out of people. So perhaps that is that just a little break that they needed. I think England, with the right tempo, can go on and win this game quite comfortably.
What that Hart save demonstrated to me, Brian, was that here's a guy who hasn't had anything to do at all, could have switched off because he saw that it was his own defender about to clear it, but was alert to the shot when it came his way and kept it out. Having seen a lot of him last season for Birmingham City, I was astonished that Fabio Capello didn't turn to him when his first pick, Rob Green, let him down so badly in the first game. Here's Milner, looking to get Walcott involved straight away. Just a little bit too heavy for Gerrard, but he almost won it back there off Ivanov. Good leap again by Dawson. You'd expect him to win most of the stuff in the air. It's on the deck where he might be beaten. Bozhinov trying to do his best here, but it's off target. Lost big money when Sven-Göran Eriksson took him to Manchester City, Bozhinov, but was injured in about his 3rd game for the club and never really came to the fore. Slight misjudgment by Jagielka. Johnson for Defoe. Killed it well. Walcott couldn't quite take it in his stride. There's Martin Petrov, stopped by Gareth Barry. Angelov. Milanov. It's a good tackle by Walcott, but referee doesn't agree.
Yeah, nice to see this one. At first I thought it was, no, yeah, he's not really touched him, but it's one of those free kicks you win nowadays. As I said, you go down early, have a little squeak as you go down, make a little noise, the referees are influenced. Pretty simple foul, silly free kick to give away.
It's potentially dangerous, this. Ivanov is in there, and England had to be at their very best to get that away. It's Jagielka that turns it away for the throw. England fans watching this on the edge of their seats. Goal for Bulgaria changes the whole complexion and perception of the evening. Manolev. Now Popov. Stopped by Cole. England's throw. England, of course, failed to make the last European Championships. 2008 competition, there were 2 teams from each group that went through. Rooney's been penalised here for barging into Stanislav Angelov. Muted complaints from the England forward. Haven't lost at Wembley since that defeat here to Croatia. We won in the brolly. Steve McCarran's awful evening. Here come Bulgaria down their left-hand side with Milanov. Comfortable for Hart. Defoe's done well. Rooney wants an option to his right, goes for the chip. Oh, good stop, Mihailov. Well, there was nothing much else on for Wayne Rooney there. No support to his right. Went for the delicate chip. And Mihailov was hugely concerned initially.
Well, let me tell you, Wayne Rooney will get an awful lot of praise for this one, but what about the part Joe Hart played in that? Received the ball on his goal line, saw something on very early, raced to the edge of his box, picked his centre-forward out with a great ball, and Rooney does the rest, of course, but Joe Hart was magnificent there.
England winning the corner count 4-0. Milner's delivery. A loose ball by Glenn Johnson. Fails to keep the pressure on. Manolev under pressure. Goal for Barry. Johnson.
Looks really good in slow motion, Martin, doesn't it? Perhaps it was that little bit slow. If it had been a little bit firmer, it might have just cleared the goalkeeper. But an excellent effort. Brilliant piece of play.
Chance here. Joe Hart, I think he had it covered. Popov it was that let it go. That's always the worry for England. Dawson's misjudgment, Brian.
Yes, Dawson's misjudgment, but again, look at Glenn Johnson. He's on the right side and covering fullback. He should have got around a little bit quicker there. It's been said on many occasions, he just doesn't naturally think defensive. And if you're a right full-back or a centre-back or a left full-back, when somebody's challenging for the ball, you get back in there and cover that position. And on that occasion, he just didn't do it again.
Encouragement for Bulgaria, that. Nothing intricate about the build-up either. It was a long ball down the middle, and Dawson struggling again, and he's gone down injured here. Jagielka into touch, and Dawson looks in all kinds of trouble here. Clearly the left knee. On what was a special night for Michael Dawson, seems to have just collapsed underneath him. Oh dear.
Yeah, we'll see even worse from this. Look at that, yeah, that's a full bend. I mean, the knee just can't naturally do that. There's no way at all. My early thoughts were that we'll be very lucky to see him continue after that.
It doesn't look good at the moment, Brian. And what that means is a debut for Gary Cahill of Bolton Wanderers. The England central defensive partnership gets more and more inexperienced. What a horrible incident for Michael Dawson, who up until 2 minutes ago had looked so steady, so assured. Then he makes a mistake, and then here it's got an awful lot worse for him. The left knee just going underneath his body, and I've got to say that my first thought on this is that, you know, the longevity of this injury, and I just think of Harry Redknapp watching from somewhere at this. He will not have been expecting this, Gary Cahill. 10 minutes into the second half. The Bolton Wanderers central defender is brought on for his first taste of international football. It's not the way that you want to come on. Many concerned colleagues there as Michael Dawson is helped onto the stretcher and helped off the pitch. There'll be a few tears there as well. What was a very special night for him has turned into a tragic one. One of the nicest men you'll meet in football, Michael Dawson.
Yeah, real pain there, isn't it? It's real pain. There's quite obviously some damage done into the knee area. Most likely potentially the cruciate ligaments or something of that nature. You would expect. It's a real blow to everybody concerned. I think when you looked at the way his knee went, it really bent in too far, too backwards, and it's potentially, as I've said, a really bad injury there. But gives this lad a chance, and obviously he'll do his best for his country. He's well thought of, very well thought of. Young lad at Villa Park, of course, many years ago, has gone on to Bolton to sort of plough his trade and has done really well. So hopefully he can just fill his boots for the rest of this game.
He was a player, if you remember, that Giovanni Trapattoni had a little look at one stage last year. Does have Irish ancestry, Irish grandparent. Trapattoni didn't follow it through. I don't think he had any great encouragement from Cahill. You don't often see an England player with Bolton in brackets after his name. somebody's misfortune comes somebody else's opportunity. Cahill just has to get on with things.
Yeah, I think it's important for the whole England team to settle down. Obviously, it's an injury nobody wanted to see, and it can disrupt the team performance and team pattern. I think they've just got to knuckle down, realise what's at stake here, and do the best for themselves, of course, and for their injured colleague.
Defoe with Walcott to his right. Johnson on the overlap. Shovelled behind by Martin Petrov.
Well, I think sometimes Glenn Johnson's just got to let him get on with it there. You know, I think he's really killing the space that Walcott himself wants to get into, and just backing him up sometimes, give him the option to come back out with the ball. And Johnson, in many respects, is very much getting in his way.
England's fifth corner. None of the previous four have produced anything. Cahill goes up, it'll fall here for Gerrard. Johnson has scored from this distance before for England, but won't here.
You know, he's got such a mixed bag of tricks, this fella, hasn't he, really? There's times he does brilliant things, there's times he goes past people, but then there's times where he does some awful things. Look at this. That is poor, isn't it? You know, I think that's where people get a little bit sort of miffed with England. You know, you'd expect them to keep the ball and try and create something from the edge of the box. You can't sort of bend it in with your left foot from that side of range. I think it's just want a little bit more craft about them from time to time.
England need to seize the initiative back in this one. Is what started off so encouragingly has rapidly dissipated into a very too familiar performance. It's been pretty sorry out there. Mikhailov has had, what, 2 shots to save, if you include the goal that went past him. Plenty of industry from England, but not an awful lot of quality. Trying to shake off the hangover of that World Cup performance. Held by the US and Algeria before scraping past Slovenia. And then falling apart against Germany. Bozhinov has got an injury. He'll be coming off shortly as Walcott lets Gerrard take over. Now it's Angelov for Bulgaria. England playing for offside. The flag stays down. It's Martin Petrov with 3 to try and pick out in the middle. He's picked out Angelov. Hart with the save. Brilliant block by the City keeper. Bozhinov down now. He's been struggling for a while, but England will carry on. It's Rooney. Can he pick the pass? Yes, he can. Defoe! 2-0 England! From one end to the other. From a near equaliser at one end, Hart's save sets England up to double their advantage.
And I think Phil Jagielka's got that exactly right there. Go and pat your goalkeeper on the back. Kept you in the game at one end. Unfortunately there, the England team break and punish the opposition when they've just more or less poised their best move of the game. It's a quality ball by Rooney. He's now really created 2 excellent goals, hasn't he? Great finish. Striker's finish again. And I was just about to say, perhaps in the last few minutes, it might be one of those nights that England would accept and enjoy a 1-0 win. Thankfully, they've got the second goal.
Well, so much to admire about the move and the finish. And he will know was so close to being level at 1 apiece. Defoe never looked like he'd missed that, Brian. Steadied himself, didn't he? Picked his spot through the keeper's legs.
Yeah, he's a natural finisher, isn't it? It's just something, as I've said before, you just can't give it people. They get in them positions and somehow they miss the goalkeeper, you know. I think that's the most important thing. You get people who get there and they hit the goalkeeper with the ball. I think a lot of people like Defoe just have this happy knack of making sure they miss the goalkeeper.
First booking of the night, shown in the direction of Evelyn Popov for that on Milner. Defoe on for a hat-trick now, remember. And Valery Bozhinov, who's had more than his fair share of injuries over the last 3 seasons, limps off. It's been trying to do that for about 3 minutes, and on comes Dimitar Rangelov, 27, plays for Borussia Dortmund. He will now lead the Bulgarian line. Gerrard looking to increase the misery. Missed everybody. It was Cahill that almost got the touch. 7 minutes into his England debut.
It's a marvellous ball. This is one of them that goalkeepers just don't like at all. Right into that area there, in between the defenders and the goalkeeper. If you're brave enough, or you can just get ahead of people, you score from that.
Petrov, Rangelov surely is offside. Defoe got the goal. Hart made the brilliant save. And here it is again. It was pretty straight, but it was travelling, and it's all about Hart's positioning, isn't it? And a good push away.
Well, I think that's the important thing. He's got strong hands there, hasn't he? It's not the greatest save in the world, but you've often seen in the past where it hits the goalkeeper's hands and drops down into the feet of a striker in there. He's got strong hands, kept his hands nice and strong, made sure he's cleared the ball, and England broke away from there. Nothing fantastic about the save, just technically it was perfect.
Milner beginning to give Manolev a torrid time. No doubt about it, England inspired by that second goal. And now looking to press home their advantage. Rangelov for Martin Petrov, who hasn't seen enough of it from a Bulgarian point of view. One of their chief threats. Hart might be needed again here, and he is, and again he's up to it. It was Rangelov with the effort, and Hart stood big and kept him out.
Well, once again, it's not spectacular, is it not? He doesn't have to be this fella, he just knows what to do. It's a brilliant stop, and that's a great deflection as well. But one thing you say about Joe Hart is he stops the ball going in the back of the net.
Not surprised about this change. Manolev has just had a bit of a run around from James Milner in the last 5. Veselin Minev, who plays for Levski Sofia, has come on. He'll play at right back. Bulgaria's first corner, swept in by Martin Petrov. Gerrard gets it clear, and Defoe looks to bring it away. Popov. Anywhere will do. Anywhere might just release Rooney, maybe not. What I like about him as a goalkeeper, Brian, is a lot of goalkeepers you see in that situation go down a bit too early. He stays there, doesn't he, and waits, says to the striker, look, beat me if you can, look how big I am.
But I think that's exactly it. You know, he's a big, strong lad who believes in himself. And I think that's I've said it before, when Defoe got in that last position over there, so many people hit goalkeepers. And I think that's, you know, turn that around, and Joe Hart believes that they are going to hit him because he's going to stay big and strong. And it's a terrific save. As you've said, a lot of goalkeepers perhaps just think themselves second best in this situation. He seems to take a positive view on all situations ahead of him.
There were many criticisms of Fabio Capello during and after the World Cup. One of the biggest ones from my point of view is his selection of the wrong goalkeeper, not once but twice. Started with Green, then went for James. He had one of the best around in his squad all the time. He didn't want to use him. And the word is after the World Cup that most of his players were telling him that Hart was the player to pick. Rooney again dropping deep. Need to put some pressure on Minev. Milner at full stretch to keep it. That's a shocking challenge. It's an awful challenge. Milanov, I think it was, that did the dirty on Milner, yeah. And somehow he's got away without a yellow card. Or is that just a temporary situation?
Well, it's not the ball, it's the elbow, isn't it? That's the thing. He's not even gone for the ball, but his elbow into Milner was really quite dangerous in a situation like that.
Quick free kick came to nothing, but England will get another corner. This takes them to 6. Good to see Milner back on his feet and able to continue. Not the sort that rolls around. 3/4 of the way through the game. England nearly there. They'd like to finish with a bit of a Gloucester proceedings. Away by Ivanov. Cole for Walcott. And now James Milner. They'll settle for that. Cleaner challenge this time by Milanov, who has been left back, now switched to the right. Minev has gone to left back. Seven corners that haven't yielded much so far. Milner has dragged this one all the way back to Glenn Johnson. Gerrard's trying to get in behind the fullback. Cahill in there too. All a bit of a mess from England. Stilian Petrov. Ivanov. Topov. Stilian Petrov dinks it in. It's over the head of Cahill. That's headed well wide by Rangelov, who's got into better positions than Bojinov did all night.
And again, you look at it though, you've got two centre-backs defending, and the full-backs are always ahead of them, even when you're defending in situations like that. And I think many people would believe, and I'm sure I've been backed up on a few occasions here, many people would believe your full-back should be round there covering your centre-back. So if he does drift off him, the full-back then takes the centre-forward. It's quite basic, quite simple, but at no stage do England cover it with full-backs.
Rooney for Walcott. Oh. Well, how he got his Arsenal shirt on, he would have taken that in his stride and whacked it goalwards and probably scored. First touch wasn't the best, and the second, well...
I think the good thing from an England point of view in these situations, Martin, has been that Rooney is picking these passes out, isn't he? And I think that's a good thing to see again. You know, he's had a real sticky patch, but tonight he's been involved in both of the goals, which has been excellent. And that pass again is a good pass from his point of view. Good challenge by Minev on Walcott.
Bulgaria still carrying something of a threat. Stilian Petrov. Got it right-hand side now for Milanov. Low ball in. Barry happy to turn it behind for the corner. Swung in by Petrov, good shout from Hart, great take.
Well, this is brilliant from an England point of view, isn't it? I think we seem to have been waiting for quite some time for somebody who might go in between those sticks and look steady, not do silly things.
Barry, cleverly past one. Rooney in space. Ashley Colwell forward again. For once, his first touch lets him down. I often say that about Ashley Cole. Just going back to the Joe Hart situation, Brian, he's only 23 years of age now. Goalkeepers can go on for a long, long time. David James has been playing until he's 40 for his country. He could have another 15, 16 years for England.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I mean, you know, we had the great Peter Shilton for many years, who's got you know, loads and loads and loads of caps, and I'm sure Joe Hart at this moment in time, although he won't be thinking about it himself, but perhaps at a time when he can sit down and look at his potentially where he's going to go and what he wants to do, that could be a target for him. Can I be England's most capped goalkeeper at some stage in my life? That's a terrific target to have for you, and potentially playing like this, that is something that he could achieve.
England are getting Adam Johnson ready to come on. It might be Theo Walcott who's going to make way. Rooney with the reverse ball for Ashley Cole, just skids off the surface a bit.
Yeah, and the fans warming to Rooney. I'm sure that's good. That's good news from an England's point of view. His passing's been much better as the game's gone on.
Walcott away from Milanov. Blocked at his near post by Mihailov. Might be his last bit of action. Indeed it is. Well, disappointing from his own high standards, but didn't really see much of the ball. It looks like his record of always being on the winning side for England when he plays will continue. And from one prodigious talent to another one, Adam Johnson, who plays in this inside-out situation for Manchester City, generally plays on the right-hand side, Brian, doesn't he?
Well, I think the thing is about the two players, Walcott and now Johnson, it gives England a balance, doesn't it? And I do think that was something that was missing in the previous campaign.
Here's Ashley Cole in towards Defoe. Milner hasn't given it up. Ivanov stabs it clear. And Milner's reclaimed it. Such energy, such determination. Johnson was on his heels. Wasn't expecting that pass from Rooney. Two Johnsons now on the England right, Glenn and Adam. Next up for England in the qualifying group is a trip to Basel on Tuesday against Switzerland, which on paper is probably the hardest game of the group. Here's Defoe. Gerrard! And Defoe is in there. Oh, good stop by Mihailov. Got up quickly to pour away the rebound, having spilt the initial drive. Given away. Johnson for Defoe. In towards Rooney, who's arriving. Stretching was Stoyanov to clear. Milner will keep the pressure on. Taking on Milanov. Goal kick is the decision.
That's another brilliant piece of play from England. They've sort of warmed to their task a little bit now these last few minutes. Keeper's all over the place there, but reacts really well. And look who's in there, searching for that hat-trick.
Well, there's plenty of time for him to get that third goal. And the teams in the group, by the way, don't carry much of a threat, you wouldn't have thought. Wales and Montenegro, who met earlier today. Montenegro winning that one by 1-0. And they will be England's next opponents here next month. Stoyanov. Joe Hart showing us his tricks. Wembley coming on next for Bulgaria. Milner. Cole. Yankov stuck to his task. It's Popov who's going to be replaced by Georgi Peyev. Another survivor from Euro 2004, although when he returned to the fold in May, it was after a 3-year absence from the international scene. Eighth corner for England. Milner has taken most of them. And most of them have had that outcome, but here's Cahill. And now Barry. Referee not interested in that. And Bulgaria able to play it out of harm's way. So if England hold on to this 2-0 lead, there's no reason to think that they won't. It will be their 11th consecutive victory at Wembley. A run that has lasted 2 years. But in that run, Brian, they haven't really played anybody of any great note. They've got France coming up before the turn of the year, then Argentina come here in February. They might be more difficult obstacles to overcome and retain that unbeaten run.
Yeah, I think so, but as we've said before, you can only do or beat what's ahead of you and make sure you do it properly. And so far tonight, I think after the troubles of the last month or two, it's good to see England win this game. I mean, potentially before it started, everybody was a little bit worried, everybody a little bit on edge. And yes, it hasn't been absolutely brilliant, but they've scored 2 good goals and created 1 or 2 other chances. Still, them little mistakes are there, aren't they, which I think are down to nervousness at the moment. But overall, I'm reasonably pleased with the performance tonight.
Beautiful football by Ashley Cole. And it's kept moving by Rooney for Milner. This would be quite a goal if there is a finish at the end of it. Milner looking right for Johnson. Gerrard bursting through. Johnson goes for goal.
It's another good move, some great passing there. And what I like about this at the end is when Adam Johnson gets on the ball, there's still 2 players, 3 players running off the ball, looking for options, trying to give him alternatives. He chose the shot, which because it didn't go in the back of the net is obviously the wrong shout, but at least there's options. People are keen. There's that enthusiasm's coming back again. He wants more, of course, but
Rooney. Johnson wants it again. And now a chance to have a run at Minev himself. Glenn Johnson with the cross. Peyev to clear it. Barry. Now Milner. Cole. Defoe, he'll hit it from here.
He doesn't have to explain himself, does he? I think most people would have been more surprised if he picked out the pass here. He's really just got to keep that down, and the goalkeeper's under pressure. The sort of player he is, Martin, you can't stop him having a shot. He's got to shoot. That's his game. He wants to score goals.
24 goals last season for Tottenham Hotspur. He's always been an out-and-out goal scorer. struggled to get a regular run in the side for England. Milner looking for Defoe again. Faced by Stoyanov in towards Rooney. He's got an option to his right in the shape of Adam Johnson. Will he go for the shot again? He will, and this time he finds the net. His first ever goal for England. If at first you don't succeed, then try again. And his manager might be smiling now. It's England 3, Bulgaria 0. 2 for Defoe and 1 for Adam Johnson.
Well, at last the manager's got it right. Young player who probably should have gone to the World Cup in the Man City team ahead of Sean Wright-Phillips, but was disregarded in a competition which was very important for everybody. Why wasn't he there? I think, you know, you can always start looking backwards and pick up points, but that just shows what he's about. He has something different about him. He's a goal scorer, he's a creator. Terrific for England.
Oh, he enjoyed that. You're spot on about Capello and the World Cup, by the way, Brian, because there were lots of us, and you know, I don't know if you were one, but I certainly was, that was saying Adam Johnson had to go because of what he can do a little bit different. And it was the way Capello seemed to lose his way just ahead of the World Cup. His sudden decision to go back to players that he hadn't picked for ages, players that were out of form that he touched on earlier. Just ignore those that had come to the fore and were in form. Some defending for England to do here. Piev with the header down. England will want a clean sheet. They wanted 3 points, they wanted a few goals, they wanted a good performance. But right now they'll be getting greedy and they'll want a clean sheet, no more so than Joe Hart.
Yeah, I think it's important to build on the result. The performance comes naturally after a result. I think it's vital for England to keep a clean sheet now. I think if they messed up and conceded, I think it would be a real downer. You know, the players are looking forward to it. They're enjoying it a lot more. And as you were talking about, and I've mentioned a few times tonight, you know, 1 or 2 people are just showing perhaps the mistakes that were made. And, you know, we can't put that right now, but the most important thing for everybody is to accept it, to find out what was right and wrong, and to make sure they build on it.
We're looking for more and more goals. It's Rooney leading the charge. Johnson coming in from that far side. He's looking for Defoe. Is this the hat-trick for Defoe? Yes, it is! Fabulous finish. Marvellous move. 1, 2, 3 for Defoe and 4 for England.
Well, it's another brilliant goal. It's a goal from an England team that looks different. It's from an England team that can counter-attack. And it's an England team where this fella, Wayne Rooney, at long last, is beginning to deliver again. It's a marvellous little pass. Defoe shows his technique inside the box. He just comes alert in there. He knows what to do. He gets his yard on the defender, and all he wants to do is score. It's a fantastic goal, and it's ending up being a real decent performance for England. This last 20 minutes has been quite outstanding, and I'm sure they will grow in confidence after a game like this.
Brian, who said Rooney and Defoe can't play with each other?
Well, I think there was a lot talked about that, and hence, you know, Emil Heskey being selected on many occasions. To play them up top together might be awkward, you know, but giving them a little bit of freedom, giving Rooney the freedom to drop off into playing in all sorts of areas and pick out them little passes round the back of defenders. The day of the giant centre forward and hitting him and playing off him is pretty much long gone. You know, I think at this level of football now, it's all about quality of pass, quality of movement, pace. And at this moment in time, England have got those sort of players out there playing for them.
3 goals in an evening takes Jermaine Defoe to 15 goals for his country. The only man that might not be happy about tonight is Harry Redknapp. He's almost certainly lost Michael Dawson for a lengthy period. And Jermaine Defoe, with that knock, well, who knows? It might be something that, with a bit of treatment, he'll be OK for Switzerland on Tuesday. His confidence certainly will be very, very high after tonight's performance. But I just want to go back to what we were saying earlier. A lot of these decisions that have worked for Capello tonight, he could have made prior to the World Cup. Defoe could have started. Hart could have started. He could have played Gerrard in the middle and played players that were on form on the flanks in Walcott and Milner, but decided not to.
Yeah, I think, you know, everybody's had a load of flack, and I think the players have received an awful lot of flack, but I think it's being proven by you know, looking at the opposition teams we played against, some of their movement, some of their passing, some of the freedom people played with in the team. You know, we really should have been there and ready for that and alert and mindful of it. And we missed out completely. Now, you know, the players have had stick, the managers had stick. I think it's, you know, we really have to move on. But you're right, Martin, and I think tonight is proving that point very much so.
Score looks very good from an England perspective, this 4-0. And the record of winning games and scoring lots of goals at Wembley continues.
Well, I think we've got to enjoy tonight, Martin, because it is a good scoreline. I think the most important thing after the end of this, and very quickly at the end of this, is to get their heads right, ready for Tuesday night. It would be no good having a good win tonight and then blowing it on Tuesday. It's going to be vital that the team really step on from here. Let's hope they can.
And presumably, Brian, the team picks itself, doesn't it? Apart from Dawson's absence through injury, of course. Cahill will come in there, you'd have thought. But apart from that, no reason to tinker. Maybe Walcott or Johnson on the right-hand side, but...
Yeah, I think it's going to be vital that the performance levels up there, that the enthusiasm, that the commitment, that the determination to do well is there on Tuesday night. So, you know, he deserves his selection tonight. He's proven that. He's been on the edge of everything, been probably close to getting 4 goals in the game. But I think, as I've said, I think the manager's now, his main task is to make sure he gets it right for Tuesday, following on from here.
Milanov with the cross. Milner still putting in a shift, tracking the fullback here, there and everywhere. And it's a yellow card for the City man, who you may recall was poleaxed by the aforementioned Milanov at the other end of the field earlier, and that one went unpunished. Was this any worse? Probably as bad. Two Petrovs looking to combine, and Milner right on top of them by the time the ball was struck goalwards. Into injury time we go. 4 added minutes. Much of that will be for the injury to the stricken Michael Dawson. So in summary, Brian, the performance, the result, is this just what the doctor ordered from an England point of view?
Well, I think before the game, the most important thing was to go out there and win. So, you know, the fact that they've won the game is first point done, and you've got to be pleased with that. There's been moments in the performance which, again, are worrying at times. For me, as I've said, I think, you know, we've got 2 full-backs who are fantastic going forward. For me, and agreeing with Pat in the studio, I think Johnson needs to just look at defending just a little bit more, most especially on Tuesday night away from home. So there is a little question mark about how much cover the 2 full-backs give the centre-backs. In midfield, I think the partnerships work tonight, without a doubt. Gerrard's been on the ball a lot. Barry's done his usual job in there. But what I've liked more than anything else is that forward line. I think it's been better. There's been the freshness about it. Yes, there's been moments where the team weren't flowing properly, but I think there's been players playing in the right positions rather than somebody playing out on the left who doesn't like being out there. And I think that's worked for England. So hopefully, you know, they can carry on from here and win more games and be comfortable in the way they're playing.
Interesting to see what the papers make of tonight's display. Some will still be sharpening their pencils for when it might go wrong. Tuesday in Basel will be the hardest test that England will face in this pretty comfortable draw. Montenegro and Wales complete this 5-team group. They won 9 out of 10 in the World Cup qualifying campaign. I see it being equally emphatic if tonight's performance is anything to go by. Milner, Ashley Cole on his run ahead of him. Back goes Piev.
The only downside from tonight, Martin, will be quite a few Premier League managers sitting at home worrying about you know, the fitness levels of their players after these two very important games. We've seen what obviously is a bad injury to Michael Dawson, and we all hope it's not as bad as it looks. But I think the worrying factor is, you know, these games just do affect, you know, the league season that we have.
Well, the World Cup disappointment will take a long time to get over. But England have gone some way, a very small way, towards beginning the process of rubbing out that sore memory this evening. 3 goals for Jermaine Defoe, and the first ever strike in an England shirt for Adam Johnson. Seen England destroy Stoilov's Bulgaria to the tune of 4 goals to 0, and start the qualifying campaign in the best possible way with 3 points.
Thank you both. And 3 for him. He got a little kick there, which I think caused a frisson of anxiety to Harry Redknapp, especially given Michael Dawson's plight. But he did appear to run it off. Want to sum it up for us tonight, Pat?
Mr. Muddle got it right. I thought Rooney was outstanding. Gerrard led the troops fantastically well. Was it a perfect performance? No. The pivotal moment was Joe Hart's save at 1-0, and they go up the other end, and Defoe gets the clinching second one. So England never had an opportunity to be nervous. Bad news for Harry Redknapp with Ledley King's injury,
yes,
and the fact that this week he named a 25-man squad and left out Jonathan Woodgate, and now he looks as though he's left or lost Dawson. Bad news for Spurs fans.
When England win like that at home, how much internally, we'll forget the the points you were making earlier just for the moment, but internally among the group of players, how much does that do to restore confidence?
That's huge. Unfortunately for England, they've always got to deal with this pressure where they're built up on that pedestal and people are waiting to knock them down. There'll be serious journalists absolutely disgusted that England have won because it doesn't suit the headlines tomorrow. That was a crucial goal, the first one. Cole had done well. That clinched it through his legs. Great finish. Hat-trick for Jermaine Defoe. Great substitution by Johnson. Even off there, just got a little deflection. And this, it looked as though, was it recurrence of the injury? No, he just got caught in the left ankle. He looks as though he's going to be okay. Good night for England, but it all depends on Tuesday now. You never get away from that madness. Alex Ferguson, he calls it the poison chalice.
What's the group shaping to be like for England overall?
Well, interesting that in the other game in the group, that Montenegro have beaten Wales, so I think that's possibly a good result for England, because let's remember, when Wales are going to step up and really want to cause a result, they're talking about moving the game from the Millennium Stadium to get a better atmosphere in Cardiff. But John Toshak, he could be under a bit of pressure now. Great
to see Northern Ireland winning. That long drought has come to an end. What, it was 10 games away from home before tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he's done a really good job, Nigel Worthington. I think that result has been coming. You know, in the group, in the World Cup, they started really badly. Remember that really disappointing result in Slovakia, and they turned it around and they threatened to qualify and then had another bad result at home to Slovakia. So interesting, but a bad result for us in context of our group.
I was going to finish with this tonight. Russia winners, as we've just shown you, I think, and Slovakia also winners. So the outsider would say all the results on the opening day in the Republic of Ireland's group have gone to plan and gone to form.
Yeah, but what will hurt the Irish players psychologically just a little bit, just take a little bit off the night, and Trapattoni as well, when it gets to 90 minutes, and they'd be hoping perhaps that Macedonia and Slovakia would be a draw. When Slovakia get the winner in injury time, I don't think that's perfect, but a good day for Ireland. But
we've got to worry about our own performances and results, though, haven't we?
Well, I think you always got to take into account the other results as well. I mean, people can do you a favour. Let's remember that the great Jack Charlton era, we just watched Bulgaria, didn't it come down to Gary Mackay's guy over there?
My favourite player.
Other results are important, but well done, Trapattoni in Ireland, but particularly well done under huge, huge pressure. Capello. Only half done. Tuesday, Switzerland, Basel. We'll be watching.
Thank you, Pat. Really enjoyed your company tonight. Bernard Jackman, Vincent Hogan and Tommy Carr join Des Curran next. I Talk Sport is up right after us. Hope you've enjoyed it. Bye for now.